师傅，我可以下山了吗？
你下山去吧。
系统是人工系统。
开始。
是 AI 技术的快速发展与军用机器人的大量出现，正在深刻改变着未来战争的形态。根据相关报道。
过来呀！过来呀！
Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chadash, double honors to beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to you, hopeful elect Akim out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp. And what you just saw were different videos of the robotics programs out there in China, you know, and though one or two of these videos may have looked like it's AI, the point and the main thing that I am pushing, you know, in this lesson is that even though, let's say, these videos specifically, you know, they may not be as advanced as that, you know, but this is a good example of what Esau, Edom, and these other nations have for the technology that they're going to really unleash in the time of Jacob's trouble. You know, and we know that whatever technology that they are showing the public, whatever open, undisclosed, unclassified technology that they're talking about openly on the internet and posting videos like this, the governments around the world are anywhere of 20 to 50 years ahead of the technological advancements that an average everyday citizen can use. You know, so these robots are what you're seeing are what average everyday citizens can use, or these tech billionaires that have a dream of building robots ever since they were a kid, or some bullshit like that. Because at the end of the day, all these nations are going to use these robots to replace certain ranks and military members. You know, these robots are going to be used to try to gather the elect. And one of the main points of this lesson is to prove why spiritual power is going to be a must. It's going to be a need for certain elect men that are going to be endowed with that power, because they're going to be facing these newly created creatures, these beasts, you know, these different high technology based killing machines that Esau has. You know, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai is going to bring that balance so that the men of the Lord, the elect, are going to be able to protect, defend, and destroy, you know, their enemies. They're going to be able to protect and defend their loved ones, the elect, their household, the 1/3, whatever innumerable multitude that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai has prepared for mercy of salvation, you know, in his second coming. They're going to be protected, because you're going to have these thermal imaging robots hunting anybody that doesn't take the MOT to the B, that doesn't take the charagma, that doesn't bow down to the B system. So how can you, as a carnal man, that, let's say you have weapons and stuff like that, there's no way that you can go against an army of these, with these robot dogs mixed in with little miniature drones with explosives attached to them that's the size of a hummingbird. and that moves 2 times as fast as a hummingbird. And hummingbirds are one of the fastest flying birds in the world. But these drones that Esau has can move the same directions, 365 directions, all these directions, and they can still, hit their targets with precision. Headshots, they're not missing any bullets. They're not just shooting to try to keep somebody's head down. No, every time they pull the trigger, something is happening. So that insane amount of unbalance that the left-handed creations of Esau and these other heathen nations for these killing instruments, these unaliving instruments, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to endow certain men with spiritual powers. Like the movie Superman, the Man of Steel, when a bullet shoots right at his eyeball and the bullet just bends right on his eyeball, it doesn't even break the surface, bullets bouncing off, whatever it is, man. The Lord is going to endow, again, men with spiritual powers. And these are the scriptures that I have to prove it. And the way that I like to do my lessons is I like to show the videos first, talk a little bit, explain where I'm going with this lesson. And then I like to bring the scriptures to prove, everything that I have said. So, Salaki, I know I'm long-winded, at times, but we're going to get into the scriptures now. And Lord willing, it be edifying. This is Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. And that's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai promising that to the Israelites, the elect, the small remnant in this time. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. And that is going to be at a time actual, literal. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to endow men with that strength. It says, I will strengthen thee. And when you get strengthened, you get elevated. Everything gets upgraded, you get stronger, and that's why it says fear not, because even though we see all these Terminator movies, all these different technology-based unaliving weapons that Esau has, that you think that there's no way that you could fight against them. And you're right. There's no way that you can fight against them. This man is blessing is the sword. So that is why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is reassuring you, the elect, with these words. He said, fear thou not. I will strengthen thee. Roughly paraphrasing. I'm going to read it again. Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, which is unbelieving, or like confused, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. And incense is like when you turn on the incense, like they went in attack mode against you. That's what that means. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. And strive is like wrestle with you, shall perish, which means ultimately anybody that goes against the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And when the elect come down, put an order on earth, they're going to get perished. Verse 12, thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them. And this is fast forwarding into the future. See, scriptures jump around. You got to know when this is talking about a future tense, but it's talking like it's already happened. Verse 12, thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them. Even them that contend with thee, they that war against thee shall be as nothing and as a thing of naught. That's talking about Esau, Edom. It goes into that in Job, that he will perish away as his own dung. We're going to be in the kingdom at one point and be like, Esau who? The white man? We were in captivity. You're telling me you're going to have one of your kids come up to you and say, at one point we were slaves? Yeah, let's sit down. Let me tell you and your brothers and sisters about this story in the time in Babylon, Oh, I love hearing this one, Kids are going to gather around because they're going to need to be taught about at a time when Esau, Edom was in power, So that's why these scriptures are so poetic, because it jumps around, and you really got to be in the spirit to decode this. This is Isaiah 41:12, Salaki, verse 13. For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Again, there's that reiteration of not being fearful. Saying to Esau, even though he comes at you against the world, saying, mother, fuck you, Esau, and your charagma, your new world order. You know, and if you have that spirit, hey, Lord, most likely you're an elect. If you're out there on the highways and byways, you're doing the work. You know, we say, Lord willing, humbly, man, because we know that we are so strongly against this system that the world is going to force upon us very soon in the form of the MOT to the B. So us preparing our spirit is us being able to be prepared for when that day comes, and to prepare our households. You know, as a man of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you are, you know, responsible for you, your household, your wife, your children, and their salvation, really. Isaiah 41 and verse 14. Fear, and this is what made me want to grab this chunk of scriptures, because, you know, we're nothing here. And I always like bringing out the scriptures because it's very humbling. Isaiah 41 and 14. Fear not, thou worm Jacob. That's like, I can't even read that without laughing, because the Lord is calling you a worm, Jake. Pretty much say a worm is defenseless, man. You ever seen a worm that gets too much sunlight? He's a little crispy raisin on the side of the sidewalk, man, because he came out when it was rainy and then got dried up by the sun because he couldn't get underground too much, man. Defenseless. All a worm can do is burrow, dig, and hide. And that's what the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is comparing you to, because he knows that Esau Edom, the devil, has so many different capabilities to unalive you, Jake. So this is continuing Isaiah 41 and 14. This is 144 verse 2. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. That's Yahweh Yahushua, his Redeemer. You know, the one who's brought us back. It was through the second covenant is Yahushua and his bloodshed that he shed for the elect of Israel, or all of Israel ultimately. But for those that get salvation for the first go around in this time are the elect. Verse 15, behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. You know, ultimately, the Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to endow the men of Israel with those spiritual powers to make these mountains, which are these governments, these armies, these hills, talking about lesser governments, into chaff. You know, chaff is, if you've ever seen like the powder or the little extra residue that falls off when they're separating the wheat from the grain. It's like stuff that if you put a match to or a lighter to, it would like burn up instantly because it's damn near almost powder. It's like powdered plant particles that are so small that they accumulate into a really tight pile that if you light it with a lighter, man, it's going to light up like gasoline. You know, so that's what we're going to do to these nations. We're going to consume them like they are chaff. Verse 16, thou shalt fan them. Whoo! The wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them, which is the confusion, you know, that power. Thou shalt rejoice in the Lord Yahweh, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel. You know, that's Yahweh Yahushai. You know, we're going to rejoice and praise Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that our names are written, as the scriptures say. Like we say, we should praise Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that our names are written in the book of life, not that these demons are subject to us. Not for the fact that we're going to get power, you know, be able to fuck Esau up. That's not what this is what I did it for. No, you're doing it, the fact that your life is written in the book of life. Because for you to get those powers, that means Yahweh Bashim Yahushua would have to have chosen you as an elect, and your name is written in the book of life, which is greater than any aha moment that you can get over your enemy. So understand what that truly means of having your life written in the book of life. You know, and I'm going to get that scripture, you know, just because I called it. Rejoice not that the demons are subject to you. Yeah, this is the words of Yahushua. This is Luke 10 and verse 20. Notwithstanding, in this rejoice not, that the spirits are subject unto you, but instead Rejoice because your names are written in heaven. Oh, call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Don't be fearful. There's so many different scriptures that saying that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to come through for us. But it is a test to see if you're going to be so scared of what Esau Edom is going to do that you go against your morality, you break your morals, which is accepting the MOT to the B, the charagma, so that you can continue your pathetic fucking life here in Babylon the Great for a little bit longer until the Lord comes anyways, because that charagma, that MOT to the B in Jacob's trouble is a major sign and one of the last prophecies that our Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is coming to take the world, you know. And so, Lord willing, that this lesson was edifying, and to see that these nations are openly, you know, boasting their technology, you know, not to mention these drone videos that we see, you know, pop out, and the robotic warfare, these little tanks, the robot dogs, etc. Man, we are going to need to be amplified in these last days. And that's just specifically talking about one category. That doesn't even mention the direct energy weapons Esau has. That doesn't even cover the surveillance tools that he has, that he can turn anybody's Wi-Fi router into a straight LiDAR machine, that he can get a 3D scan of everything in your home, where the metal objects are. He can see through walls. So spiritual power is going to need to be coming in the form of many forms, whether it makes you invisible, whether it makes you hide away, whether it gives you super speed to escape, you know. So to take flight means, hey, it can come in any way, shape, or form, man. And a good way to see that is the movies, the X-Men, and all the different powers and talents that the mutants so-called have, you know, and the different capabilities that each mutant has in his different power. Well, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai could unlock all of those for you, you know. And that's our faith. That's my faith. That's the brothers' faith around me. Is that your faith? So Lord willing, that this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Till next time, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chachadash, and double honors to beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Wa, peace, and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Till next time, Lord willing, Shalom.